are we doing? It's December 1st. We made it to December, right? Everybody excited? Yeah. How are your classes going? Lots of students here tonight. I know lots of people here getting for their courses, getting some extra credit, cheering on their friends, their peers, all kinds of good stuff. So that's great. Well, I'm so happy to be here, and I think I know most of you, but if I don't, I'm Sandy Richtermeyer, and I'm the Dean of the Manning School of Business, and just really excited about this opportunity that we have every year, and just a great opportunity for all of us to get together. The primary motivation behind this competition is to really think about innovation and how you apply what you learn in your classes, particularly your finance classes. Some of you had finance classes already, some of you have not, so you're applying what you've learned in your first set of courses in your degree program, and it's really exciting to see the ideas that you come up with. So it's all about innovation, excitement, and just getting involved, getting engaged, and learning a lot. So how many of you have learned a lot from participating in this already? Okay, come on, the hands need to go like this, because if there's judges here, right? They'll be like, we want to know, the judges want to know you've learned a lot, don't you, judges? That's great. Okay. Well, tonight we have 6 teams competing, and so they're competing for cash prizes. Cash is good, liquidity is good, right? Especially in December. Okay, the room's too quiet. Okay, come on everybody, let's, you guys, everybody went to such a quiet room. Okay, so you get cash prizes. Each team has 5 to 7 minutes to present their idea, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A by the judges. So it's good for everybody in the room to know the rules. David Badalero, where did he go? He's our timekeeper. Uh-oh, the timekeeper's missing. There he is. Oh, here comes that timekeeper. He's walking in with his watch right now, or his iPhone or something, right? Okay. That's great. So we're going to keep an eye on the time for this. And after all 6 teams have presented, there's an intermission with the judges. The judges will deliberate, and everybody else will eat. Okay, so that's a good time to grab some food, and we'll make an announcement. So we know that from previous competitions that those that compete in this program, in this contest, in this initiative, they go on to do great things. They apply what they learn, either with the idea they presented tonight, or with something that's related and various iterations. So this is a very worthwhile activity for you all to participate in. One example that we have too that's kind of fun is Greg Montemaro. How many of you know Greg? Anybody know Greg from? Okay, put some hands up. I was going to see if maybe he was coming tonight. We should have texted him. He competed a few years ago, and now he's working for DCU at the FinTech Innovation Center in Boston. And we all cross paths with him a lot. He's very engaged in the business community, and it's exciting to think about. I remember the night when he was a first-year student and he competed. So lots of good stuff. The partnership with DCU and DifferenceMaker has been very exciting. It's been so valuable to our college, our university. It's created so many jobs for students. So many great things have come from this. So thank you all for being here to support this. We have lots of people to recognize, and we've got DifferenceMaker faculty fellows who act as ambassadors for the DifferenceMaker program within their colleges and departments. And I don't know if we have any from the other colleges here tonight. Do we? Okay, here we go. I'm sorry? I'm so sorry. Everybody has their masks on too. I look around thinking I'm going to recognize everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support. We also have faculty members who help mentor teams and present to them. And we have Kevin Willett. He's our DifferenceMaker faculty fellow for the Manning School of Business. And so everybody there, give them a good round of applause. And we have a great team that's been behind this whole initiative, putting all the pieces together, putting the program together, and implementing every aspect of this program. And that's our DifferenceMaker team. And so first we have Holly Lawless. Who's Holly? She's the program director of the DifferenceMaker Institute. David Valolaro, he's our timekeeper that we've already kind of called out here. Thanks, David. And then we have co-op students, Adam. Where's Adam? Is he here? Okay, Adam, Maddie, Yeharn, and Jake. Is that right? Did I get everybody? Wave your, you're here. Okay, all right, thanks guys. guys worked hard. You learned a lot doing this too, I know. On the Manning team, we had support from the office the dean's office at the Manning School of Business, and we had Patty Donald and Mary Lou Kelly. I know Mary Lou's back there. Patty couldn't be here tonight, but Mary Lou, all right. Thank you, Mary Lou, for all of your support. And also Steve Rogers. Steve is such a champion of this program. We also want to thank Adam Dunbar from Event Services for all the support and for all his team has done to support this event. Where's Adam? Is Adam here? Or he's behind the scenes, right? Okay. Let's give Adam a round of applause. And also we have so much support from the leadership of this university. Chancellor Maloney, Provost Hartman. We have our fearless Steve Tello, Dr. Steve Tello, who is a founder of all of these things. He's available for autographs later too, aren't you, Steve? This is great. So Steve, thank you so much for all you've done, all the inspiration, effort, and getting this whole team and all of these aspects going. So thank you, Steve. And Steve has, as many of you probably know Steve, but Steve has so many aspects of the university that he oversees. Our graduate programs, our online programs, GPS, international student services. Steve, just the whole smorgasbord here, right? So lots of things.
This is the fun part.
This is the fun part. This is where he really likes to come and hang out, right? You're thinking things were easier with all of that. So thank you so much. And this event would obviously not be possible without the support of DCU, our sponsor, who does so much for this college and for the university, for our students as a whole. And I'm looking around because he's hiding from me, I think. We are so fortunate to have the CEO of DCU, Jim Regan, here. Here's Jim. Jim also serves on the Manning School of Business Advisory Board, and so it's really exciting for us. We really appreciate all the input and engagement, and he's very involved in the life of our college, which is so exciting. And we also have Tomas Demura, who's right here. Tomas is very supportive of this program. You've been involved for several years now. I remember, I think the first year that you became involved, and your title, this is good for everybody to hear, is Innovations Manager. Now, what a cool title. I think a lot of our students tonight would love to have that title going forward, right? Yep, they're shaking their heads or they're nodding. So very cool. So Tomas, thank you for all you do on so many levels with all of our entrepreneurial and experiential learning initiatives and just your general support. We really appreciate it. And we also have some amazing judges tonight. And I'm going to give you their bio and I'll give a quick with their titles and hopefully they can all turn around and wave and they'll probably have their masks on during the whole thing, but we'll all get pictures later maybe with masks off if people are comfortable. First we have Dave Carter, and Dave's right here. And Dave is the Director of Information Systems Infrastructure at DCU. So everybody, students, pay attention to these titles. They have lots of cool responsibilities. Look them up on LinkedIn, see what they do, learn about their jobs and their career paths. Okay, so we also have Sandesh Karuklar, and he's right here, and he is the Director of Information Systems Development at DCU, which is such a cool title too. I know we've got a lot of MIS majors here tonight, and I'm sure they'd like to learn more about that. And we have Barbara Russell here. Barbara is the co-founding managing partner of CapW Global Advisory and Investment Banking Group, and she also teaches here as an adjunct, and has had some of the students that are in class that are here tonight. So Barbara, thank you so much for being here. And here on my left, on the end here, we have Mike Zuccaro. Mike is an alum of UMass Lowell, Manning School of Business. He is the head of financial planning and analysis for Aura Biosciences. It's a mouthful there. And he is on our Manning School of Business Advisory Board, so he and Jim are on the advisory board together. And they love to hang out and do advisory board stuff, right? So for those of you the students that don't know what that is, we have an advisory board that gives us input and helps us with all aspects of the business school in terms of finding opportunities for you, giving us feedback on our curriculum, and helping us in many ways raise funds that make these types of things possible. So it's a good thing for all of you to learn that we have those things in place. And over the next hour and a half, we're going to hear from our 6 teams. Again, they have 5 to 7 minutes. We repeat that so everybody who maybe just came in knows the rules. We have, and then they'll have the Q&A. David, look, are those the signs? Show everybody your signs. This is our.
1 minute up.
Yep. And if those don't work, then we have the phone. So we'll be helping you stay on track there, right? And then after the pitches again, our judges will be eliminated, or deliberating. They will be eliminated. They will be eliminated. They will be ejected from the room into a secret location that nobody knows, right? And they'll keep their masks on so nobody can see them, and they'll go off and determine who's going to be winning. So what's exciting is our finalists will automatically go into the advance to the DifferenceMaker pitch off this spring, and it's for a chance to win a portion of $50,000 in funding. That's a really big bonus. So there's a lot of great resources here that are available. And we did have a few more people come in as I was talking. I want to make sure that we recognize any faculty that are here tonight. I see Professor Finch. Hi, Professor Finch, who's also been very involved in this program. I see Tom O'Donnell. He's right next to Professor Finch. I spy Associate Dean Percival. And help me out, Holly. Anybody else? Did I get everybody? Any other faculty that are here tonight?
Professor Radigan.
Okay, everybody, raise your hand. Where is Professor Radigan?
Way over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes, you're standing up in the back. Thank you so much for being here and for your support and all you do for our students, Dave. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, David. And anybody else? It's hard. I'm sorry. I do the best I can with everybody with their masks on, but I think I've recognized it. So how about any students that are here just to cheer everybody on? Raise your hand if you're a student here just to cheer your friends on. All right. That's great. You're going to meet all the students that are participating as well. Okay? So good luck to all the teams that are participating tonight. You're going to do great. Everybody's a winner. This is exciting. It's all positive, and I know you've learned a lot. So we'll go ahead and Holly, I'm just going to do the check with you. We're going to go ahead and get started, and everything's cool? Okay. All right, so we are going to welcome our first team, and they're Team Chainbank. And they're going to come up, and they will introduce themselves, and then we'll start the timekeeping. So we won't start it all until they come up, right? Does that sound good? Okay, so Team Chainbank, ready to come up? Oh, here they are, over here. Great.
Hi, I'm Iman.
And we're Chainbank. And we're here to introduce why Chainbank is a better banking solution. So Chainbank is basically a blockchain banking solution that will provide users with privacy, convenience, and security for financial transactions. And our objective is to revolutionize the online banking transaction system.
So we're offering our service as a banking as a service model, which is an end-to-end model that allows banks and third parties to connect with the bank systems directly via APIs to build the banking offerings on top of the provider's regulated infrastructure. So basically, instead of the banks and customers building their own service, we would be offering our service on top of their current infrastructure, which would take the stress and headaches out of their own infrastructure, while we would take that role and we would go ahead and develop that service.
Our solution provides a distributed ledger technology, which will offer a private ledger for all transactions conducted on the platform.
So the benefits of Chainbank include offering a simple and secure transaction data. So since each transaction on the Chainbank would not be able to be removed, if you wanted to undo a payment, you would need to make another payment subtracting it. So from the original, which would make another transaction, making it more secure because the first transaction wouldn't be able to be removed. So that way you would have better readability, assurance, and tamper resistance, and this would provide accuracy and validation on each transaction that occurs. And this would also allow for increased performance and scalability due to the nature of the distributed network of users that are nodes, which are basically computers that will be running the blockchain process. And the transparency and accountability of the users will provide a secure solution to their financial needs.
So for our short-term goals is to basically develop a minimum viable product and to find customers, while for long-term we want to expand our customer base and basically better understand our competitors and try to improve our software and make it more efficient and easier to use. And for our targeted market is basically online banking transaction systems, and our estimated market size will be determined by our upward trends of banks optimizing their transaction classification system. And for market share, we're expecting approximately 90% in the upcoming years.
So the current market size of measured by revenue of the commercial banking industry in the U.S. is currently $838.4 billion, and the number of U.S. citizens that are currently using online banking is 64.6% of users. And we're estimating that in approximately 2 to 3 years, we will be targeting 90% of the market share. So what we require to achieve this market share is infrastructure. So we're going to need to be able to develop our service and have the technical and financial capabilities to develop it. We're also going to be looking at finding new customers and expanding our service to far-reaching markets. We're also going to have to work on different marketing strategies to find these customers, as well as analyzing the current customers that we have and their own data to improve their current services and provide better flexibility and adaptability to their own infrastructure.
So in order for us to succeed, we need to secure finances for expansion, attracting new customers, and improving our services, system, and process. But there are also risks that we might present, including like bugs and financial hurdles and implementations.
So our current competition mainly consists of neobanks, which are basically financial tech firms that are offering apps, software, and other technologies to streamline the mobile and online banking industry. And there are also other competitors, which are basically banks on their own that are trying to develop their own type of blockchain-based ledger system.
And for funding, we basically require business loan, crowdfundings, angel investors, venture capitalists, and help from family and friends.
So as of now, our timeline is to start off by developing the ledger solution. Then we're going to go ahead and integrate our ledger's technology into current software solutions. Then we're going to start to contact the banks and begin analyzing how we are going to implement our service. Then we're going to go ahead and create private nodes. And nodes are basically computers that are going to be running the blockchain processes with the banks. And we're then going to go ahead and optimize the software and make it more reliable and secure. And then we're going to go ahead and expand and debug and make sure that we are understanding our customers and seeing what they want to improve, as well as how to better implement our service. For your consideration, Chain Bank. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, thank you for the presentation. Great presentation, and really, you guys have put a lot of thought in presenting the chain bank. When you look at the banking, are you building the platform, or are you also building the APIs and the UI so that members can log in Are you also building the mobile application so that if somebody wants to transact it, they can transact it through front end as well?
So we're mainly looking at developing the APIs and the online private ledger solution to current banks as well as other customers that have their own transaction system rather than developing our own mobile app. So it would be benefiting like bigger and more customers rather than users on their own.
It was a terrific presentation. Thank you, Amon and Hirschfield. So, going to banks and offering an API and tapping into their trusted customer base is a daunting task, right? So how are you going to overcome the vendor viability issues? I saw that you're concerned about bugs. So tell us how you perceive, how you're going to attack this market with vendor viability issues notwithstanding.
So we're going to start off by going ahead and understanding how the banks are exactly making their own transactions secure, and then looking at how exactly they're making their transactions. And by adding our service, we plan on asking the banks like how they're currently developing their own software solutions, and we are then going to go ahead and attach our own APIs and our ledger solution to make it easier for them to reach the vendors. That answer your question?
Somewhat. Good enough, thanks.
So, quick question: How have you guys thought about how you're going to monetize this? How are you going to generate revenue? What is your pricing model? What is the way you're going to generate funds from this once it's up and running?
So basically we're offering it as a banking as a service model similar to the software as a solution model, which is offered by companies like Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. So instead of targeting we're going to be offering our solution as the banks would be giving us a certain fee, then we would go ahead and implement our service on their own. So they would be paying us like a recurring fee while we go ahead and continuously monitor, update, fix bugs, and make sure that the platform is fully secure with Chainlink.
And this would be recurring like yearly, so we could like stay up to date with like new like bugs or like hacking systems.
So one other question: on your timeline, I didn't see any actual times. So can you give me an idea of how long this process to get to that end game is going to take in your mind?
10 years, I think.
So we're looking at maybe approximately a year to develop the ledger solution and integrating the solution, but in terms of expanding and contacting the various banks, we're aiming at around 10 years.
So, quick question. Good job presenting on this. I do have a question around that developed ledger solution. So blockchain as a service is now offered quite a bit out there. Have you guys looked at maybe that as a way to kind of fast track your initiative and how to get this started versus developing from ground zero?
So we have looked into that, but in terms of how we want to develop Chainlink as its own, we decided to target more towards the banking as a service model. We looked at the blockchain as a service model, and there are similarities, but the way that we're going to be contacting banks and the way we're setting up our fee model, we would make it easier for us to develop our own APIs and make it easier for us to integrate with the banks.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, Chainlink. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We'll straighten that out so that we can make sure the next team comes up to maybe make sure we turn up the volume a little bit. All right, so thank you, Team Chainbank. Next, we have Credit Champs and Safe Swipe.
so much. Oh, is it on? Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for coming tonight. My name is Benjamin McClure,
I'm Alex.
and our company is called SafeSwipe. Alex, you want to tell them about it?
The future of banking is digital. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives in every way, pushing everything towards being touch-free. We intend to do the same thing with ATMs. We'll use cloud-based technology to connect your smartphone with any ATM to create a touch-free banking experience. The mission for SafeSwipe is to create a safe and more sanitary ATM experience. We wanted to create a service that will allow our users, when using an ATM, to have a faster and safer banking experience. With the use of the app, they will be able to go in and out without touching a thing.
All right, thanks, Alex. So we've already established that the main goal of our company is to provide a more convenient and safer experience for customers who want to use our ATMs. So an additional objective of our company, that's primarily the biggest one, is we want to have more accessibility to ATM transactions for people who have some sort of disability or somebody who may have a health risk for COVID who might not be touching a screen. On top of our objective, when we're looking at return isn't necessarily always about a direct source of income. The return we're looking at for DCU on this project is to get consumers in, to get more members, and to get more member satisfaction. If they have a more convenient way of getting ATM transactions done and it's more successful to more members, then it's going to bring more members in, and it's going to allow more members to feel like confident in what they're doing with their transactions. We want our growth to be based around how many ATMs DCU is using our software. For us, the majority of ATMs at DCU having the software is going to be a sign of growth and success for us. A majority of our success is going to be attributed to the adoption of users. If the users at DCU and the members aren't adopting our technology, then it won't be successful. We need member adoption in order to have our product be successful. Going off of that, one of our biggest risks would be adoption. A big factor of our success is going to be if users are adopting our software and if they feel comfortable using it. So that is why it's very important that we create a user-friendly interface. All right, so what is it that we're trying to do? We're trying to use cloud-based software in order to connect your phone to the ATM. And we want to make sure we're doing this in the most secure and safe way possible. The idea we have for this is every ATM and every branch should be assigned a number at the bank. So you go in, you connect your phone, you're prompted with a message on the app that allows you to use the ATM feature. You would enter in the ATM's number, and you'd enter in the branch number of the DCU that you're going to in order to have a secure and safe transaction. After that, you would enter in the code, and then the ATM would prompt you with the security code you would use to enter into your phone. After that security link has been established, you would then be allowed to do the transaction through your phone, and the ATM would execute the transaction for you. This technology is not necessarily new. Many different companies in different industries are using cloud-based software right now to do similar types of things. However, what differentiates us is we're going to be using the software in the banking industry to make ATMs safer and easier to use for everybody. So everybody's involved in this. We want to target everybody who's a DCU member, everybody who's using an ATM. That's very important to us. However, what we're targeting specifically for this project is people who have disabilities and people who are at risk for COVID. 2.7 million Americans are currently in wheelchairs, and over 60 million Americans have some sort of health condition that puts them at high risk for COVID. All DCU members are considered, but having an ATM that you don't have to touch would make it a lot more accessible for people who have disabilities or people who are at risk for COVID. In terms of competition, we looked at competition not necessarily directly, but as a whole. So one of the biggest sources of competition we see right now, especially with the group that went before us, is how fast the banking industry is evolving. A lot of banks could potentially innovate around ATMs altogether. You might start seeing an ATM transactions go down and down as time goes on with the technology that's developing. In addition, users might start using more digital and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin that also might make it harder for the ATM transactions to happen.
Funding is going to be a crucial part in developing this service. A majority of the funding will be going towards the software for the ATM machines. It is extremely important for the success of adoption to create a friendly user interface. When it comes to the source of our funding, we believe venture capitalists to be the most beneficial. They will have the resources to guide us in the development process. They will also have the resources to help us implement the technology and help us expand our idea.
So in terms of our milestones and timeline, we'd hope to take around 5 to 9 months to develop the software. Since a big risk of ours is going to be adoption, it's important that we take this time to make sure the user interface is friendly and that it's accessible to everybody. In addition to this, we'd like to take around 6 months to implement it into the first few trial ATMs. We'd like to do a few local branches to start off with to see how it works, to see how people react to it, and to see if there's any tweaks we can make to the process. After this happens, we'd like to take about 1 to 2 years to start to branch out and implement the software into other ATMs as well, into different states, into different branches into New England. Some of the key milestones that we'll be facing is obviously completing the software. That'll be a huge milestone for us, getting it working and operating. After this, getting our first ATM implemented with the software is going to be another large milestone. After that, our biggest milestone is going to be having a majority of the ATMs at DCU implementing the software. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
So really good presentation, guys.
Thank you.
So when I looked at your competitive analysis, what I didn't see were the contactless card companies like Apple Pay and others. And it looked to me that I looked at you have several steps in order to get the ATM to accept your identity and then dispense cash. So how do those two comport? How do you compete with the contactless hardware and software providers?
So for that, on that aspect, I'd say security is a large difference between the two of us. For the more Apple Pay stuff, that's I'd say it's slightly different to ATMs as well, and I'd say our version is more secure. We're adding a few different layers of security to ensure that it knows it's you and it's ensuring that you're using the right ATM. So our biggest way to differentiate from that is to have the security aspect.
Thank you.
So question, one of the keys you indicated was basically building member adoption. What's your plan to drive the adoption of this service?
I would say a big way to do that would be marketing and promotion through DCU to members to inform them. It's convenient for everybody, not just people with disabilities, not just people who are at risk for COVID. So I think marketing to them that it's a new feature, marketing it in commercials, I think that would be the best way for adoption to make sure it's secure, and to just let people know that there's options where they don't have to touch the ATM. I think in times like COVID where people don't want to be touching surfaces other people touch, I think it would be an easy choice to decide to do it.
So in the demographics that you laid out, which looks like you're targeting, folks with disabilities, COVID, et cetera, that could be a wide age range of people, right? And, as we get older, and I'm starting to get there, resistance to change. This is new technology. This might be difficult for people. How do you overcome that or potential objection to it?
Yeah, it's a great question. As I mentioned earlier, a big part in our development of the software is going to be focused towards making a user-friendly interface. I think as the technology changes, and part of the reason why we wanted to do this is because there's so many changes in technology that are so advanced. There's a large section of the demographic that don't want it. They use cash. They prefer cash transactions. So I think it's important to innovate in that way. And I think this is an incremental innovation to where people who might not necessarily be tech savvy would still feel comfortable using the app and feel comfortable making these transactions, even though it's going in a more digital direction.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So one of the things you talked about is building your own software, but many times the different ATM machines or ATM vendors, they have their own software. How are you planning to integrate that with the vendor software?
We would have to discuss it with the DCU branches themselves and the people who make the software and figure out a way to where we can use the software with their software or to adopt it so that there's not as much work to do for them.
And how much time do you anticipate to actually come up with the design and then get their approval and security testing?
Yeah, so as we were saying, we'd expect the development time for the software to be around 5 to 9 months, potentially a year. We really want to make sure we get it right. And then after that, probably about 1 to 3 years for adoption, probably closer to 3 years for majority adoption.
I start presenting this. So interesting case reminds me of kind of like the gas companies nowadays, how they're doing it. Are there any thoughts as you guys are planning this and you go down the road, potentially integrating it with the mobile banking applications so it's more all-in-one versus separate applications as you start tying and building out your ecosystem?
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we had in mind, and that was a big inspiration for what we were doing this about. I think having a more inclusive way to include everything would be great. And I think definitely as time goes on and we get better at adapting the software to the ATMs, I think that'd be definitely something we want to consider.
Thank you, Team Credit Champs and Safe Swipe. It's great. Next, we have Team Labor as a Service.
I'm Kevin. I'm presenting my team Labor as a Service. I plan to introduce an idea that involves a web and mobile app that is meant to be a labor as a service provider. It connects potential gig workers with companies needing to hire manual labor. This will have huge benefits for companies and potential workers alike because it allows workers to get exercise while allowing companies to meet their labor demand, which is critical during this current labor shortage. The mission is to create an easy and convenient platform to connect prospective gig workers with companies who are looking to hire them, similar to how Uber and Lyft connect gig drivers to riders. The mission is to give companies with high demand of manual labor like UPS and Amazon warehouses the option to easily hire temporary labor workers. Usually these companies have to employ these workers as employees, and this creates a huge strain due to commitment required. If the companies can easily contract workers on a temporary basis without too much commitment, they can hire more flexibly and easily, and the workers can opt to work for the company because this is a job option that is not so demanding of their time and commitment, and it can also be an exercise opportunity for them. The business goal is to create a win-win scenario for the company and the workers, where the company can hire more flexibly by going on the app and browsing for potential workers. And the workers can use this as an opportunity to look for potential to exercise and work opportunities. I plan to get this going by keeping expenses as low as possible in order to have a good head start and first start off with launching this business in a small local area that's a high demand for labor workers. I know that Uber was started off in a small local area, like in a major city in California, where where drivers were in high demand. Therefore, I feel that if I follow in Uber's footsteps, it would be the best. Business will be slow at first because I have to create the application software and preparing all the resources, like the databases and the computer algorithms. Before this launches, I may select a few a few companies willing to go on a wait list so that they can start early and have a good head start in joining the business. There are risks to my business. It is important that I keep initial expenses low, or I'm going to be paying too much out of my own pocket. And if I make a mistake and this goes wrong, then I will have wasted all my time and energy for nothing. So it's really important that I make sure that this app will be really popular when it launches. The service name is labeled as a service provider. I will provide the services in a similar way that Uber and Lyft does in the driving industry, except that I deal specifically with the labor industry. On the company profile, companies and workers alike can create accounts on their profile on the app that advertise themselves as looking to hire or wanting to be hired. This idea is different because while labor workers have existed long before this, my app will take it to a whole new level by making it easy and widespread. Just like with Uber and Lyft, gig drivers existed before Uber existed, but Uber made gig drivers so popular and widespread that they have basically replaced taxi drivers. This labor as a service provider will do the same thing and basically replace part-time, full-time labor employees with contractors. Pricing strategy will be through commission fees and possibly subscription fees, where I will take a percentage of the pay that the company will be willing to pay to the employee. This application will be a hybrid of web and mobile accessibility in order to make it accessible to anyone, regardless of whether they only use computer or use smartphone. It will be easy and convenient for employer or worker to create an account and profile that will advertise themselves as hiring or looking to be hired. The worker can use the app to book a working exercise session at some place like an Amazon warehouse as a package handler at a specific time. They can travel there and then work until their shift is over. In some cases, if the job requires training, employees can opt to go to a job training session at a location through the app. After they complete the training, they can display it as a certification on their company profile so that the next time they log into the app to look for work, other companies can see the certification and be like, oh, that person has worked at a company before. My target market are companies that require labor workers, especially companies impacted by labor shortage. They will all be my potential customers. Additionally, all workers looking for work are my potential customers. There are many benefits to society. There's a labor shortage going on in America, so therefore this will be beneficial to them because a lot of people are looking for more flexibility in their life. There are no companies that are direct competitors to me besides LinkedIn and Indeed. They are the closest because they are like job referring companies that will be competing with me to refer people to companies. Yeah.
Good job. So when you used Uber as an example, Uber has a marketplace, right? They have a matched marketplace, but they also have to certify the drivers, and they have to ensure that the drivers have licenses, et cetera, right? And that way they participate in the marketplace. As a small startup, how would you ensure the quality of the employees, the potential employees, the gig workers? And how would you ensure that they show up for the job? Tell me about how that works operationally.
Well, let me go back to the part that talks about the certification So as you can see in the last bullet point, if the job requires training, employees can go to a job training session. Like suppose that through my platform they book a training session with as a package handler at a UPS warehouse or something. If they complete the training, there will be a mechanism that the company will notify my company of that, and from that my company will give them an automatic certification, like the company will know that and then they'll get a certification badge they can display on their work profile, so that the next time they want to work at USPS or Amazon warehouse as a package handler, these companies can look at that worker's profile and see that, oh, they've completed training as a package handler at UPS, therefore they qualify to work for us. And it's going to be similar to Uber and Lyft in a sense, when it comes to certifications and work, whether they are US citizen or not. Yeah.
Thank you for your response.
Thanks for your presentation. I had a similar question to that. So if it's the labor work, so things like Corey checks, background checks, things along those lines, I'm assuming that bypasses that is the vision for how this is going to work.
Yeah. Yes. It's similar to when take suppose that you want to work for Uber, for example. Like you have to pass background checks, I'm sure, and you have to pass all kinds of checks to make sure that you qualify to work. Like before workers can create an official work profile on the Labor as a Service app, they have to submit documents that prove that they are US citizen, they are qualified to work and that kind of stuff. And my company will have a process for verifying it, similar to how all other hiring companies do it.
Thank you.
The companies you are targeting are where the manual labor demand is high, like Amazon we talked about.
Like the Amazon warehouses and the UPS warehouses, like the companies that are in demand of manual labor.
Right. And I saw like Amazon charges, they give $15 an hour, right?
Yes.
What would be the price you would be charging to Amazon in this case? It looks like your pricing would be very small percentage of it.
I'm not good. How much Amazon? What Amazon decides to pay to the, suppose that a worker books a working exercise session with Amazon as a package handler. How much Amazon decides to pay the worker will be entirely up to Amazon. But if they use my platform to book the working session, then I would likely charge a commission fee, I'll probably take a certain percentage from the amount that Amazon is willing to pay to the employee, similar to how Uber and Lyft does it. They charge a percentage as well.
Thank you to our Labor as Service team. All right, next we have Simplicity Bank.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Here, and this is my teammate Monica, Saiba, and Yihan. And together we bring to you Simplicity Banking. Before we begin, let's talk about what the problem is. Well, we believe that the problem is that many people do not know about personal finance or financial literacy until later on in life. And this is an issue because, if we did have that foundational knowledge, we would know that the earlier you can save your money, you can maybe invest it, let it grow to give you some future profits. And that is why we thought of children. Children do not have these foundational knowledge. And so that is why we want to make sure that if they have this foundational knowledge, they don't face these hindrances in the later life when they're at maturity, because if they don't, they're not going to know what checking account is, savings account, withdrawals, deposits. That is why we bring to you Simplicity Banking, an app that teaches financial wellness to children in a fun and engaging manner. This consists really of the gaming of itself. The gaming uses a mascot that the child uses with the help, and through a mission, they are playing these games, completing the mission, and as they complete the mission, they also get introduced to financial literacy tips. Upon success, they get rewarded through coins. In this case, 100 coins is equivalent to $1. And that is why we have here parental control. We do want parents to monitor this app so that they not only can monitor their progress, the educational aspect, but they are keeping in track of their savings account, making sure that that $1 is going to their savings account.
So our mission is to create an app that makes financial education more accessible and easier for children. And so our product is an app that will have a savings account linked to a bank, and we offer features that are unique and you can't really find elsewhere. And one of these features is a maturity mascot, which will be kind of like a mascot that will grow as the child grows. And we also have short financial videos and games that the players can watch to gain coins. And then we also hope to create a subscription model for schools to implement our product into their curriculums. And in the future, we also hope that we can partner with banks and ask them to charge their customers a fee to offer our service. And then lastly, we also offer our service to individual families, so we charge them at a rate going about from $15 to $150 depending on their length of subscription.
So our target market audience would be children from the ages from 10 to 18 years old with an initial population of 5%. The reason, as you can see on our slide, that the size of the market is unknown is because a majority of our mobile banking users are primarily, if not all, adults. So within this, in April of 2020, there was a 70% increase of mobile banking users from the 4 largest banks in the US, which is a 63% increase from 2019. With this, keep in mind that children typically get their first mobile devices at the age of 12. This could be iPads, smartphones, or just a computer in general. So with this, we thought, with Simplicity Banking, why not allow them to play games that they always play while educating them on financial literacy? So what we would require to achieve this market share would be lots of advertisement and partnerships from school fairs, after-school clubs, and local banks around us.
In terms of our competition will be other financial services companies that also target children and teens. For example, one of them is Greenlight, which is an app where parents are able to deposit funds directly onto their child's debit card or savings account directly through an app. Another competition would be banks who already have established services aimed for children and teens. However, we differentiate from these competitors because their services are very functional, while we aim to have an app that is functional as well as educational, informative, and fun for kids to play. Here is our timeline. Currently, we are in the idea stage, and we plan to stay in this stage until the end of the year or so. Next year, that's when we will begin to raise funding. So we plan to raise funding through additional pitch competitions, startup competitions, and using our personal savings as well. Raising funding this way would allow us to increase our professional network, as well as get professional mentors without having to take out a lot of loans. Once we raise enough funding, approximately $10,000 to start, we will begin working on our prototype, where we would recruit additional team members to help us with it. The additional team members would be people who have the background of app development or website development, so we would have to find people to help us with that. Once we have a working prototype that is utilized, we would take that prototype and showcase it to banks. By showcasing it to banks, we would be able to get partnerships with them. The benefit that banks would get is that they would be able to showcase to their customers a differentiated product and potentially get lifelong customers. So for example, as a child, if you're learning about financial literacy in a very fun and engaging way, and you're growing up that way, as you're an adult, like, and you have finances, you may tend to stay at that bank just because of you grew up with it, you have the memories of playing with those games, you have that mascot there with you, and things like that. Once we have those partnerships with the banks, it would allow us to tap into our target market a bit more, where we would be able to do test trials on our app. With the test trials, we're looking at both positive and negative feedback, and we will make updates to the app as necessary. Once the app has had enough updates and there's no issues with it, we would launch the app approximately 2 years from now in January 2023. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Nice presentation. The question I have is, your primary customers are the teachers of the schools. They are the ones who are paying you, making it as a part of the curriculum. What type of feature or app you're building for them so that they can actually track the progress and the proficiency of the kids?
There potentially would have another version of it, so there will be another version just directly for the teachers to track their progress, as well as the parental controls. So the kids themselves would be able to see their savings and play with their games in their way, and that's all they would see. But the parents would be able to control that and see the behind the scenes, and teachers would be able to see behind the scenes as well and monitor their children's progress that way.
I love the presentation. Thank you for that. So, on that note, I also got the sense that the bank could be an end user. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how does that work? So who is your specific end user? Who you're going to monetize?
Banks and children who are using the app.
Okay. And second part of the question is, so your competition, you mentioned one green light and potentially banks that are trying to have figured out that this is a good thing to do. What about Robinhood and some of the fintech companies that are already digging deeper into the demographics of teenagers?
When it comes to apps like Robinhood and things like that, that's more of like stock investing. For us, if we want to increase the knowledge on just general finance as well, so for example, how to build good credit, how to save to make sure you have enough in the future and things like that. So it would be a similar concept, but more of like a gamified child version of it. So Robinhood is mainly geared towards people who are teens and adults. Our target demographic is mainly younger children who are not thinking about finance, so we kind of want to teach them about finance in a way that's indirectly teaching them.
So, question for me, a couple questions. In terms of driving demand, are you really trying to drive demand at the kids and parents level, who then go to an institution and say, hey, do you have this, or how do you, or are you going to the institutions to try to push demand down to the target audience, which is the kids? So I'm just trying to get some clarity around that.
I think they're both separate entities in a way, because we're not looking to go to every school. Like there could be a target school, but when we say families, I guess it's better to attract families, because then they can learn from the bank, and then that can be passed down to their child. Whereas the school, they would just introduce it as like, hey, here's like not an extracurricular activity, but just like a side activity where interested students can do it.
So I guess the follow-up is, if you're thinking about doing it through banks, are you targeting the bank, and then they will offer that as a service to the children and parents?
Yeah,
or are you trying to build the demand through the children and parents to get the banks to sign on?
I think first we would bring this idea to the banks, because when families open up a Young Savers account, banks will publicize like, hey, we also offer this Simplicity Bank as one of the tools for your child as they are savings. And so banks is who we're partnering up with first, with the intention that hopefully families will like the additional service.
Okay. And in terms of your pricing, I know you put some pricing schema up there. And you also noted that part of how you're going to drive demand is through advertising, which is not inexpensive, right? So in terms of understanding how you cover your cost. Have you thought about that in terms of your pricing model?
We're currently in the idea stage still, so we are still in the process of figuring that out.
Thank you.
Thank you to Team Simplicity Bank. Okay, next we have Team Stock to Me.
Hello everyone, I'm Matt Allen, and I'm Jackson Starrett, and we are part of the marketing team for Stock to Me.
My name is Matthew Knash. I'm a CEO and founder at Stock to Me. Stock to Me is the first stock opinion marketplace. Users can go on Stock to Me to buy or sell stock opinions. Our information that we provide on our site is clear, quick, and understandable for any level of investor. Our mission statement is to give the users a platform where they can gain relevant stock information quickly and at a very affordable price. We want to introduce uneducated investors to the stock market while providing experienced investors an ability to monetize their efforts. We envision that in the future, when people are looking for stock information, Stock to Me will be the first app that they download. Our business objectives are to have 100,000 users in the next 1 to 5 years. Our success is ultimately determined by the opinion makers. So the people making the opinions on Stock to Me, giving their advice. If those opinions are correct, people are going to purchase them, and we're going to make money from that. In the future, we want to update our app, ensuring that we remain simple, our information is simple, and the user interface continually improves so people stay engaged on the app and have more screen time with it. The one risk I see for Stock to Me that is very imperative is our liability to the information that is on the site. So one person would post a stock opinion. If another person follows that opinion and they try to sue the company Stock to Me for the loss obtained with that opinion, that's a risk I foresee. However, we have several disclaimers on the site that protect us from that. So to start off with, we have 3 different categories you can make opinions for. First, you can make a long position opinion saying the stock is going to go up. You can make a short position saying the stock is going to go down. And you can make opinions on cryptocurrency now. The incorporation of new technology at Stock to Me is what makes us different. We provide a whole reputation of opinion makers so people can go on there and see the entire history of how well this man has, what man, woman, or anything has done at predicting the stock market. This is patent pending, and it looks like this. So you have wins, if you can see it there, you have losses, your lifetime profitability, and then an algorithm that I created called STM points, which has 5 different factors to allocate points based on the profitability of his or her opinions in the entire profile existence. For our competitors, Quora is a big competitor, Stock Alert, Discord, Reddit, those things, they all lack an efficiency that Stock to Me doesn't. Stock to Me can provide that reputation of the opinion seller that none of these do. And that is where we find a lot of value in Stock to Me, and we are patent pending in that regard. Our market analysis on a general note is anybody who wants to manage any part of their own portfolio, or anybody who wants to learn how to invest in stocks by looking at opinions, looking at why they made that opinion, if it's right or wrong, and you can read all that reasoning on Stock to Me for free. You can even read the reasoning. You don't have to pay anything. More specifically, we want to target the forum Wall Street Bets on Reddit with 10.5 million users. and we want to get 0.5 to 1% of these users to come and try Stock to Me. Also, day traders and individuals who want to manage their own portfolios, those are our more specific demographics. Right now, our funding looks like we've raised over $50,000 from family, friends, and private investors. We are looking for partners who have an influence in the stock community more so over the amount of money that they're going to fund us. We have enough funding right now to keep our app up and running for the next 4 years, and we just hired a new coder on the team to redesign the whole UI interface for the 3rd time. And we want to look for somebody who can help develop our technology as we did today. So our milestones. We've raised $50,000, we developed our MVP, we redesigned the UI interface twice, now we're going for a 3rd time. We did 3 months of beta testing, and we have already submitted to the App Store. We have a couple more things to work on the responsiveness side, but it will be in the App Store in the next month or so. In the next year, we want to hire professional investors to make opinions on the platform to start off with, to get the ball rolling, because once these people make profitable opinions, their users and their following are going to come to Stock to Me to see their opinions and buy them, and that's how we make our money. We make it through advertising partnerships and every in-app transaction we take a part of. We want to also start our marketing campaign on Reddit. That's coming very soon. And we want to get, right now we have the provisional patent on the stock opinion marketplace, reputation, and our algorithm. We want to get that as a full patent. And we want to continually update our app, ensuring that it's private and safe. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, so I really liked it. So I'm a little confused about your model, your revenue model. Could you just explain to me, it sounds like you're going to have a marketplace of influencers and friends, and they'll describe their trading strategies, and then you're going to track their performance from day one, since they come on the website. So tell me about freemium versus premium. Tell me how all that works.
So basically our revenue model, I'm trying to find the photo. So right there, that's what a STM opinion looks like. So you have a buy point, a sell point, a start date, and an end date. So those are all objective features where
Is that on the screenshot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's straight from the app. So that was a correct opinion. So Ethereum got to that point, and so he was right, and that opinion was right in that time. And so every time somebody posts an opinion, it's on the site right now for 50 cents, the equivalent of it. So you can go on the site, buy STM coins, which gets you to buy opinions, and you can see those exact features right there. And then every time somebody buys an opinion, we take 5 to 10% depending on our pricing model and the price that they decide to sell their opinion at. And that's how we make money.
So it's a little like modeling in that regard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I should start presenting this. You talk about onboarding investors.
Yeah.
Look at stocks. How do you figure that into your business plans? I got to envision that's going to fluctuate depending on who the person is and the amount of people that they have potential to bring onto your platform.
Yeah, no, so I'm looking for value in their following right now because they're going to bring us users. If we hire or sign somebody to exclusively post their stock information only on our site, they're going to bring hopefully 50 to 60% of their following straight to our site. So that's what I'm looking for right now in partners and investing. It's less about that and more about their influence in the stock community at the moment.
Thank you.
You talked about liability.
Yeah.
And you're also planning to bring investors, influencers potentially. How do we prevent these influencers from benefiting by selling their own opinions and making money, right? Because they may have their own interest.
Yeah. So that's kind of a part of it. We want people to have an ability to monetize their efforts by getting stock opinions right. And we kind of leave the ability or how well they do in the stock market or how many they sell to the people, because people are going to buy opinions of the people who do better and have better reputations, obviously. But on a liability standpoint, we see many apps like Stock Alerter gives the same kind of like data. It's that direct, and they don't tell you to invest in it, but we have the disclaimers in place and the liability protection on the site that they have to agree every time before they use it. So it's similar to those sites in that protection.
Last question, how do you acquire customers and how much does it cost? And is that factored into how much, what your need will be in terms of your financial need?
Yeah, so acquiring customers right now, we haven't started our marketing campaign, but Reddit users, we built this app designed for them. How they were talking on Wall Street Bets, it looked like they needed an organized site where they can post those stock opinions and have a platform where it can recognize if they're right or wrong in an amount of time. And so that's how we're going to advertise on Reddit through commercials and things like that, and hopefully partners. And sorry, I completely forgot the second part of your question.
That's good enough, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Team Stock to Me. Now we'll welcome Team Trade Bonds.
Hi guys, my name is Tony Benny.
And I'm Sebastian Pascal.
Welcome to Trade Boss. So, what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is an ability to understand and apply financial knowledge to everyone. So, which includes financial management and budgeting and savings, trading, gambling. Basically, each financial knowledge is a literacy, and literacy is a knowledge. So we created an all-in-one financial platform. It's called TradeBoss, providing financial literacy on stock, crypto, Web 3.0, Finance 3.0, and Metaverse, which is the future by Google and Facebook are doing it right now. So in this platform, we're focusing on Gen Z and millennials by providing education with the help of financial certified professionals.
So our mission is to educate the youth and allow them to build wealth and generate income. We want to allow people the ability to break generational curses through finance. And then our 3-year goal is to help over 1 million people learn about finance and then also emerging technology. And our 10-year goal is to help over 10 million people make their first $25K from investments.
So our target audience are Gen Z and millennials. Interested in building wealth and gathering financial freedom, and people who are looking for another source of income, and mainly people who want to learn about financial market and how to navigate financial market and improve their financial well-being.
So over 28% of Gen Z millennials do not invest. And then student loan debt in America has reached over $1.6 trillion. And on average, millennials carry over $5,000 in credit card debt. And with new money coming into the markets, there has been a lot of speculation in gambling, as we've seen with the AMC and also GameStop fiasco. So new investors don't really know what they're doing with their money. So the opportunities that arise, so in the last 10 years, there has been a rise of commission-free brokerages, and these brokerages allow people to keep all the profit and not have to share it with middlemen. The stock market is a trending topic amongst Gen Z millennials, as well as cryptocurrency. And then there's many investment opportunities, such as equity crowdfunding and new asset classes, such as cryptocurrency and NFTs. And then the global fintech market is projected to reach over $300 billion in 2022. And the main sources of education for Gen Z millennials in relation to finance is YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Also, most of the people are investing based on other people's opinion, which is really bad for the future.
So our main competitors are Trader Circle X,
StockTwits, Smarty Stocks, Stock Sharks, and Investopedia. So these platforms are focused on providing people with education. So one platform, Investopedia, is a glossary where people can get financial information and terms. And then some also focus on having memberships where people can attend live classes and then also have one-on-one membership. And some platforms also provide industry outlooks and stock rankings. So what makes TradeBoss different from our competitors is one, we want to work with certified financial advisors and college professors who focus on finance to educate people on our platform. And this is to differentiate ourselves from online gurus, you know, everything about making money. And like you'd see on the internet, like, I'm a millionaire, I can teach you how to be a millionaire if you buy my course. So we want to differentiate ourselves by having a place where people can get trusted information that's accredited. And then we will have courses, tests, and live classes. We will also have a news site where people can follow cryptos and stocks that they're into. And then we will also have courses focused on Web 3.0, the metaverse, and other emerging technologies. So the way that we're going to make money is by having a subscription plan. So a basic plan will give you access to courses and tests, while a premium plan gives you access to courses, tests, live classes taught by certified financial advisors, and then also chat room discussions so you can converse with like-minded people on trades that you're making and ideas that you have. And we also plan to have affiliate programs with financial institutions. We will be selling user data. We do know that's controversial, but we'll be following the EU GDPR guidelines. And then with selling courses, we will have an individual plan and also an enterprise plan. The enterprise plan will be for colleges and high schools, and they can buy the software and then distribute it amongst their students. So we're currently seeking $25,000 in pre-seed funding, non-equity, and this is going to go towards hiring tech developers, building out our platform, customer acquisition, and getting legal assistance. And then, so our proposed next steps, we do have an alpha out right now. Our goal is to get over 100 users by the end of the year. For Q2 of 2022, we will re-release our platform and have a beta. And then we will target college students in the greater Boston area. In Q3 of 2022, we plan to have live classes taught by certified financial advisors and also hire more tech developers on our platform. And for Q4, we will build out the social media aspect of our company, which would be the messaging system and the chat rooms.
And thank you for all of you guys listening to us.
The website is live right now, so if you go to tradeboss.com, you have access to 4 courses related to credit, personal finance, stock market, and cryptocurrency. It's all free. All you have to do is just sign up and create an account. Thank you once again.
So at the beginning of the presentation, you talked about youth and targeting youth and millennials and Gen Z. I guess my question to you guys is, you know, millennials are starting to approach 40. And, you know, I don't necessarily see that as youth. I guess the question I have is, from a real target perspective, where do you see the most demand for this within that kind of Gen Z millennial group, and where are you really targeting? And I noticed, so that's question 1. Question 2, in your cost structure, if you're targeting the millennials and Gen Z, are they the ones paying that $7,500 a month?
So we had 2 types of subscription policy. So basically, institution can buy, or like college can buy one-time enterprise, then they can distribute it to college students, or individuals can buy themselves as a subscription. That's a way of revenue we can get. So there's 2 types of. Also, we also focus on high school students too. So high school students are Gen Z, basically, so they can buy. College high schools can buy enterprise free from us, then they can distribute it to students.
And then on the target market, just kind of maybe give a little clarity around kind of that broad definition of youth, and then millennials, Gen Z, where do you see your sweet spot in terms of your
I would
market?
say 16 to 30. So mainly people that are like on social media, up to date on like technology and news. And that would be like our early adopters.
Yep.
So on the similar note, you also have financial advisors that you talked about.
So I was trying to say we're trying to work with the banks or financial process from college. They can, so we try to help them to make money from using our platform too. So basically when students from outside, not in the college, from maybe try to get a certification or something like that, they can use the platform to learn about stocks or crypto. Then they can pay directly to raise the financial advisors or bank advisors who will do financial. They can pay them to make money from our platform. So it's a good way to make money for them as well as to learn students.
So are they going to use your platform to trade the stocks?
Oh no, so we don't want to do that. We don't want to trade anything from our platform. We try to educate them about trading before they get into trading. So now, in our generation, right, no one have really good idea in trading stocks or crypto, or not even know. Some people doesn't even know what is Web 3.0 or Finance 3.0 is. So we have to teach them before they start to get into this kind of area. So if you're young in like high school, they can learn in high school right after they graduate. They know what is they're getting in the real world. They know what's going on in the real world, right? So they get an idea. Then after they try to go to college, they already know what they want to invest in, how to save money, all that.
Yeah, the CFAs are just going to be teachers.
So how does that work? If you're offering this inside of a university, you already have professors that teach some of this stuff, right?
I don't see anyone teaching in here that is about Web 3.0 or Finance 3.0 or even Metaverse. I don't see that happening because Metaverse happened this year. They invented this year, so I feel like if we educate that right now to students, they get an idea about what is NFTs, which is non-fungible tokens, right? So people get their education, what does that even mean before they buy that stuff without no education.
Okay, so the universities will they'll pay you this enterprise fee, and then you will hire CFAs to come in and teach. It sounds like a General Assembly meets Khan Academy.
Yeah, I'd say something like that.
Okay.
And then so also they would be like freelancers. So on their own time, the CFAs and the college professors that focus on finance would be able to teach.
And the university gives credit for this?
No, they
No,
pay.
so-
So we kind of be like Blackboard in a way, or like Coursera, like have access to all these courses.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Team Trade-Buzz. So let's give a big round of applause to all of the teams tonight. We all did a great job. Nice job, everybody. So now the judges Holly's going to take the judges to their judging area, and we're all going to network and have some fun, right? Everybody's going to have some food. And I also wanted to mention to you, we have Ed Brennan here tonight. He's been capturing this evening's events and photos, but he is our amazing writer. And so all the great stories that you see about the Manning School of Business, Ed puts together. So I know we send his articles out a lot, but there he is. I know the students are always interested in meeting you. So thank you for being here, Ed. Thank you so much. And it looks like we also have Brenda Evans join us tonight. Brenda, thank you for all you do, Brenda, our leader from Student Affairs. And so we've had a good night. They did a great job, Brenda. Great. Thank you for being here. All right, so I guess you guys are ready? Okay, cool. And the winner is Team Stock to Me. Congratulations, Team Stock to Me.
Yeah, we'll
get a group photo of you through here if you want to stand like right here in the middle of the stage. And, yep. Okay. You can probably take your mask off. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And then everybody else will too, but I'll take my mask off. Good.
So you can, I'll take
Oh, no.
it there and then I'll go.
No, please come in this way. Come on,
All right, so you guys can
and then we get all the judges.
All right, congrats. Yep. So,
Actually, you all want to slide down that way then? So we get the, there you go. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming tonight. I hope you had a good time. Teams, we'll get pictures with everybody and get lots of group photos. So thanks everybody. And every student needs to come and get your prize. Every student. You're all winners. Thank you so much.